Welcome to the training site for DERA's Environmental Farming Scheme. This training module is an introduction for the Environmental Farming Scheme wider level option, retention of winter stubble. You will need to watch this video, and this is followed by 4 questions which you have to answer. Further details about the Environmental Farming Scheme are available on the DERA website, and this includes the information sheets for each of the options. In this lesson, we will cover a number of aspects, explaining what the option is and why you might want to establish it. It covers a number of things that you must do as part of the scheme requirements. It discusses field records and how to keep them, and then covers a number of things that you must not do to comply with the scheme. It gives an overview of the type of checks that DERA will carry out as part of their responsibility. It gives the payment rate for each hectare, and then some further practical advice to help you make a success of the option. What is it? Well, essentially it's a matter of stubbles that are from cereals or oilseed rape. They're grown using reduced pesticides, and the stubbles are retained after harvest until at least the 15th of February. Why might you want to establish it? Well, it's about providing split crop seeds and weed seeds as forage for seed-eating farmland birds. Regarding the amount of option required, the amount that is detailed in the agreement is the amount that must be done. Overall, for the option, there's a minimum of 0.1 hectares, and the maximum will be as per your maximum agreement value. This option is established each year for the duration of the agreement. You must adhere to the scheme requirements and controls as detailed in the option information sheet, and these are summarised in the next few slides. For example, you must establish, retain and manage the agreed area each year for the duration of the agreement. You must harvest the crop and remove the straw. You must retain the uncultivated post-harvest stubble until at least the 15th of February. And noxious weeds must be controlled by non-chemical means, taking account of integrated pest management and health and safety requirements. If you're working as part of the higher level scheme, you must establish, retain and manage everything as detailed in the site-specific remedial management plan for the sites. You also must keep field records detailing the area established, the locations, the dates management activities are completed, and all the management requirements, including integrated pest management. This is an example of a field record sheet, and you need to keep records at field level, and you need to keep them each year of the works undertaken for this option. You may use the format shown here, which is available on the DERA website, or you may prefer to use your own format to keep the required records. Please note that there's a separate training module on record keeping, which will give you help with this aspect of the scheme. You also need to keep agreement level records each year of the 2 parts of integrated pest management as highlighted here. This means indicating, as shown here by ticking a box, that you've assessed whether there are any issues with harmful organisms or pests in the establishment or maintenance of the option in your agreement. And secondly, that you have checked and recorded what measures you have taken to protect the option from such pests. There are certain things that you must not do in order to comply with the requirements of this option. Some of the key ones are that you must not apply pre-harvest or post-harvest non-selective herbicides. You must not undersow the crop with grasses or legumes, and you must not undertake any management activity that could reduce the benefit of the option. DERA will undertake certain checks to verify that the works proposed and paid for have been completed and are to the required standard. The range of checks done for this option will be based on the requirements and controls as detailed in the option information sheet. Checks can be of different types and will include office-based administrative checks, or secondly, they could be technologically based checks such as control with remote sensing, or thirdly, they could be on-site checks such as rapid field visits or on-the-spot checks. Some of the checks that may be carried out on this option are summarised in the next few slides. DERA will check that land is not permanent grassland sensitive. They will check that the approved and claimed area is established and managed each year for the duration of the scheme, and they'll check that pre-harvest non-selective herbicides are not applied other than spot control of noxious weeds. They will check that the stubble is retained until the 15th of February. They'll check that the crop is harvested and straw removed, and they'll check that the crop is not undersown with grasses or legumes. Regarding the payment rate for this option, it will be £85 per hectare each year, but please note that greening reduction may apply if relevant to your land. Some further advice to help you operate this option successfully. Retaining the stubble as long as possible after the 15th of February will increase the value for farmland birds. And also you can rotate annually from field to field on eligible land. Cereals harvested as whole crop silage is eligible for this option, provided the option requirements are met. And also take care when applying pesticides to adjacent crops to avoid drift onto the area of winter stubble to be retained. And finally, as we have come to the end of this training video, there are a number of things that you need to do next. First, you need to complete the questions for this option, which can be found after the video. It's essential that you do this so as to register that your training on the option is complete. Secondly, you should also read the information sheet that relates to this option. This is available on the lesson site and also on the EFS section of the DERA website. And finally, if you have further options or capital items in your agreement, you can take the training for them after you have completed the questions for this option.